Hey guys, in this video we're talking about taking the pension early for people on Plan 3. So if you're a member of TRS 3 or PERS 3 and you're wondering, hey, should I take my pension at age 60 and take a penalty, or should I hold off and collect my full benefit at age 62? This video is going to dive into the differences there so you can see when the break-even age is and if it makes sense, if at all, to take your pension early. Now the key part here is you have to have 30 years of service in Plan 3 to be eligible to take your pension in full at age 62. If you don't have 30 years of service credits, your numbers are going to look completely different than we're going to discuss here in this video. And I'll be sure to post a video for members with less than 30 years shortly on the channel here. So now, assuming you have 30 years of service, if you decide to take your pension early, let's say at age 60, that's 2 years early, there's a 5% penalty that goes along with that. So about this time last year, I recorded a video over here that was on Bill 6662 that was seeking to move up the early retirement age for teachers on Plan 3. So ideally, if that bill would have passed, it would have made your full retirement age 60 with 30 years rather than 62, thus avoiding a potentially 5% penalty on it. Unfortunately, that bill didn't pass. I know a lot of people were excited that they had a chance potentially retire earlier without taking a penalty. However, this is just a 5% penalty we're talking about here. It's definitely not the end of the world. And if that 5% penalty is what's stopping you from retiring 2 years early versus working 2 more years, then you're probably not in the financial place to actually make that move. So without this bill going through, can it still make sense to retire and collect my benefit at age 60 and take that 5% penalty? The answer, of course, to that question is it kind of depends on your situation and what you think is a decent amount to take early and when a good break-even age is for you. So now let's get to the numbers. So remember, if you're on Plan 3, pension is based on a set formula. They give you 1% for every single year you work in Washington State, and they're going to base that percentage off the average of your top 5 years of service. Remember, it's your top 5 years, not your last 5 years. So for this example, let's assume you average $100,000 per year while working and you put in 30 years. So you're entitled to 30% of $100,000. So your pension in full would be $30,000. So if you waited till 62, you would get $30,000. Now, if you're decided to take that early at age 60, there's a 5% penalty. So rather than getting the full $30,000, you're going to get $28,500. So you're losing $1,500 per year for the rest of your life. Now, that may seem quite steep to some people, but let's dig into the numbers to see, does it actually make sense or not? Now, one quick thing you need to understand about Plan 3 is it has something called indexing to help boost your benefits if you decide to delay taking your pension. So ideally what happens is if you decided to retire and hold off collecting your benefits, the state increases your benefit payout by 3% for every year you hold off up until age 65. So if you wanted to collect at age 60, you'd get $28,500. But if you were to retire at 60 and then hold off until 62 to collect, rather than getting the full $30,000, you're actually going to get 3% for those 2 years of deferring. So in total, you'd be about $31,800 or so. So because of this indexing, the difference isn't just $1,500. It actually works its way up to about $3,300 difference per year if you decide to collect at 60 versus waiting until 62. Now that may seem like a big number, but here's something to keep in mind. Once you start taking your benefit at age 60, you're going to be banking that $28,500 for 2 full years. So before you even get to age 62, you already have put in your pocket $57,000. So the question is, I already have $57,000 from the system. How long is it going to take for that $3,300 to catch up and for me to break even? Well, in that case, it's going to be about 17 years before you see the break-even point. At that time, you'll be about 78 years old. If you're okay with adding 2 extra years of your retirement benefits and knowing that you're going to be breaking even around 77, then maybe it makes sense for you. Because of that indexing feature, it does make it a little bit harder to justify retiring earlier. And age 77 really isn't all that old. You could potentially have another 10, 20 years left in you. So collecting early at that point may not make the most sense. That was just the base example. So in that example there, I didn't account for cost of living adjustments at all. I simply just said, hey, there's going to be a 0% raise. You're going to get $28,500 for the rest of your life, or you're going to get that $31,000 for the rest of your life. So keeping all the numbers the same, now let's say you have the benefit of getting a 3% cost of living adjustment on your pension every single year for retirement. So assuming now you have a 3% cost of living adjustment, you're still going to get your $28,500 at age 60, but you're going to get a 3% raise at age 61. Therefore, your benefit's going to raise to about $29,355. Now you've collected $57,855. In addition to that, your benefit's also going to rise another 3% the following year. So you're going to go from $29,000 to $30,235. So now the difference there between taking the pension early versus collecting at 62, it only represents about a $1,600 difference. So assuming you get that 3% cost of costing adjustments every single year, the break-even point opens up to about 26 years of age, or age 86 in many cases. Ultimately, when you break even is going to depend on the cost of adjustments, whether you get one or not. Assuming you get a 0% cost of adjustment versus your life, break even is about 17 years. If you get a full 3%, which is the max by the way, expect to break even about year 26. Again, it depends on your situation. When you feel comfortable breaking even, do you expect to live that long? Many cases, retirees are living longer and longer, so you want to make sure that you take that into account. Also, as good as these numbers sound, remember that early retirement is no joke, and you still have to account for things like taxes, insurance costs, and things like that. So this is just one part of planning for early retirement. If you want to get more in depth on planning, download a copy of my free book, which is the 7 money murdering mistakes Washington teachers make. In that book, you're going to find more mistakes that can keep people from retiring early and ways to avoid them. Remember to give this video a like if you found it helpful, so this video can spread to more Washington State educators. And I'll see you guys next week. Remember that your future depends on what you do today.